We honestly, most of us typically just think of the troops themselves instead of the needs of their families. Now, meet the Samuels from Keller, Texas. They are in a fight for their life, the life of their special needs daughter, Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn is the daughter of a Navy captain, Mark Samuels, and suffers from cerebral palsy, autism, epilepsy, and scoliosis. She's been using horses for therapeutic riding for years so that her spine will not curve to the degree where it will essentially crush her lungs and suffocate her. TRICARE, the military health care program, stopped paying for Kaitlyn's therapy because her physical therapist uses a horse as a tool rather than a ball. Despite a judge's orders not to cease the coverage, the Department of Defense has forced the Samuels to pay back thousands of dollars. Kaitlyn's mom is pleading with Congress to pass Kaitlyn's Law, which was introduced by Congressman Michael Burgess to ensure that our military families and wounded warriors get the therapy they need. While Congress can talk all they want about helping our veterans and their families, they actually do need to take action. Let me welcome to the program Kaitlyn's mom, Jennifer Samuels. That was kind of a tough intro to get to because I know how important this issue is and your story. So tell us about your daughter.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My daughter has been receiving her physical therapy, and it's actually, you had mentioned therapeutic riding. It's not therapeutic riding. That does exist. That's where a lot of this confusion has come in. She's receiving physical therapy just using the horse as a tool. It is what is needed to prevent her from having life-altering surgery. Surgery for a typical child with scoliosis, although not pleasant, it's usually fairly routine. With Kaitlyn, several orthopedic surgeons have told me there's a 50% chance she will stop ambulating. She basically walks with my assistance. So if she stops walking with assistance, that means she stops transferring. That means we need a great deal more of equipment at home. She already has osteopenia, which is the precursor to osteoporosis because she doesn't weight bear a lot. So also, the surgery may need to be repeated more than once if she has it. So surgery is not cost effective by any means for Kaitlyn. When we're talking about physical therapy at $80 a session, that would prevent that horrible route that we do not want to go down.
Okay, so why, of all the things the government and the DOD spends its money on, why here, why this, and why are they rejecting a judge's ruling to continue this program for your daughter?
Well, unfortunately, the way the TRICARE appeals process works is you appeal basically on paper through several levels. The final level of appeal is an independent hearing, but the judge's ruling is not binding. So the DOD can still do what they want. We had our hearing, so the government paid for the judge. They provided the judge. We had the hearing in Dallas. We hired our own attorney for that hearing. We won that hearing. The judge found in our favor and agreed, but TRICARE, DOD still said it is not covered. They feel it is hippotherapy and it's not covered. TRICARE defines hippotherapy, we have it in writing from them, as a form of exercise or therapeutic riding. That is absolutely not what Kaitlyn is receiving. She is receiving physical therapy, just using the horse merely as a tool. The same way she would use a ball in a therapy room, that is what she is receiving. TRICARE will willingly pay for that. But once the therapist moves her to the horse, they will not pay for it. So it's a zero. This is not an expansion of coverage. It's not an increased cost because they say she is absolutely entitled to physical therapy. They just say you cannot use the horse as a tool. But that is the only tool that is working for Kaitlyn to prevent her having to have multiple risky, life-altering surgeries.
It sounds like some of the thinking that we're all going to be dealing with when Obamacare sets in. I don't want to make you political or anything, but it just sounds like a bureaucratic regulation that doesn't really need to make sense to be enforced. So where does Congress come into all this?
Well, we've gotten a great deal of support. We were very blessed to have the law firm Aiken Gump. Marcella Burke is our attorney. They are representing us now pro bono. They are helping with that, so I can't speak to real details. This whole congressional political process is very new to me, but I can share that we are getting some very good support. Dr. Michael Burgess is our congressman. He and Congressman Tom Cotton, who is a former combat veteran, they introduced the bill, which is, it has a very long, complicated name, but we basically refer to it as Kaitlyn's Law. And we also have 6 co-sponsors, and the last one just signed on last week. So we continue to get very good support. So we're hopeful that we can clarify, because this therapy is covered under the law. TRICARE is mistaken. It is covered, and we're just trying to clarify it. My husband is a captain, so we can technically afford to pay for Kaitlyn's therapy, but there are many, many military members that if their children are cut off, it's not an option. They can't afford it. And not only do we have to pay for it now, they recouped years of therapy payments back from us. And if we didn't pay it back right away, it was going to have interest. And then there was an outstanding balance.
Wait. I got it.
Yeah.
They wanted you to pay back something that they had given to you, changed their minds about, and threatened you with interest on top?
Exactly. They recouped. They had the notes. Kaitlyn's physical therapy evaluation stated clearly that she would do well on a horse in her physical therapy. That was approved and paid. Then every single physical therapy note that TRICARE demanded with each claim said that she was on an equine. No one was reading it for a year or more, and all of a sudden they finally did, and they said, oh, no, we made a mistake. It was never that we made a mistake. They said, we shouldn't have approved this, so we need all this money back. And if you don't pay it back by X date, there would be interest, or they would start garnering our payments that were due to doctors. The next time we went to the doctor, they just wouldn't pay him. So it was demanded.
I got an idea for you. Why don't you find a horse named Ball? Then you could put down that she was on Ball for her therapy. I'm not even trying to make a joke out of this. I mean, if no one's reading if no one's reading this stuff, you might as well just.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Other than that would be technically insurance fraud.
Oh, I know.
We could do that. I mean, exactly. The therapist just wouldn't do that. She was being honest. I have not met a person that I've talked to about this that doesn't say this is crazy.
So where do you want this? We've got about 30 seconds. What do you want to happen next?
What we want is we want the law clarified. We want Congress to clarify the law that is already stated, so TRICARE cannot deny physical therapy benefits based on what tool the therapist uses. The therapist is the professional. If a doctor has ordered this therapy and they are choosing this tool, they are the professionals. It doesn't cost any more. Actually, they bill lower than the hospital's bill for PT, technically. We just want this clarified clearly so this cannot happen to anyone else again. My husband has earned these benefits. When he joined the Navy, he was promised health care for his family. He has never wavered on his end of the commitment, but the DOD is not following through on theirs.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing the story, and I hope you do well in your legal battle. All right, I have another patch since